Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Kirby Fair Show. I'm joined by Sam, who did not get a haircut, but he still looks great. He's in a new space. Welcome, Sam. Tell us about your experience.
It's been, well, I was going to say fun, but moving's never fun. So it's been a process, but we're settling in. Me and Tilly, here she is over sitting on the cactus. That's a video exclusive. So
Tilly
check us out
loves
on YouTube.
her prickly cactus.
She does. I call it Cactus City.
So you moved from apartment to a home.
Townhome, yep.
Townhome. Well, isn't that very millennial of you?
I guess, yeah.
I'm on the cusp, but I think
Still
you're
renting,
fully millennial, actually.
No, I think I'm also right on the cusp.
I always like to define it as where the spectrum of the Disney Channel was.
So we're watching the same Disney Channel.
But it's like, but hear me out, because the kid's younger than us, like 1 year younger than me, we're not watching the Disney Channel games and the Wizards of Waverly Place. They were on the like Good Luck Charlie bullshit, you know? And I think that is the clear divider. Like I was talking to this guy. Well, I don't really do it. I've done it once doing this like on-field reporting commentary for the soccer thing. And bless his heart, I wouldn't call him a sweet man. If you're listening, love you. Thank you for the opportunity. But just like any business, and I think dealing with young people has been hurt by people not showing up for work. And he's really not fond of the way that Gen Zs have treated him. So I get on the phone and he's like, well, no, we're doing email. We're back and forth email. And he's like, well, do you have tape? And I was like, no, I don't have any tape of me doing commentary because I've never done it before. And he's like, well, it's going to be hard to get a job doing commentary if you don't have tape. And I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of that. And then he's like, well, I don't know, if you don't have tape, then I don't know. And I'm like, why are we going back in this circle of just give me a fucking chance and then I'll have tape? But so we're going over email and I'm writing him like soliloquies basically of why he should just hire me and give me a chance. And then I'm like, look, Kyle, unlike every Gen Z I'm sure he's ever talked to, I was like, just let's hop on the phone and hash this out. So I was like, if I can get someone on the phone, then I've got the job. And so he's like, yeah, you know, all these Gen Z kids just like come in and they find out they're not getting paid because of course it's pro bono because I don't have any tape. And I'm like, you know, in my head, I'm like, this is my start of my story. You know, like I'm imagining my like ESPN 30 for 30. Yeah. And I'm like, I was working for free just so I could get some goddamn tape. And then he's like, yeah, some of these people just like show up and they're like, oh, I didn't know I wasn't being paid. And then they'll leave. And I was like, first of all, that's crazy. Second of all, I'm not Gen Z and you're really offending me right now. He's like, oh, well, I just assumed. And I was like, well, man, look, a resume doesn't tell you everything. You don't even know my birthday. So clearly you stalked me a little bit. Wow. But then when I did go to this thing, this girl showed up and then she did leave. Like they were like, she like was supposed to be on the walkie-talkie to doing stats. And they're like, oh, she's not answering. What is going on? And they go check and she sure had fucking left. And this is like an hour and a half outside of Chicago. Oh like she had driven all the way there, gotten to this place and was like, this is bullshit. I'm going home. And I was like, I respect that. Cause like I didn't get home till midnight. But like, I mean, Kyle has a point. Let's just say that. But no, I'm not
You're different though. You're different.
I'm built different. I'm built on the cusp. I'm built on, you know, Dylan and Cole Spross's mother was a singer in the hotel club. Like that's a job that you can't have.
The Tipton.
And support two twin boys. Speaking of twin boys, Cooper Flagg has a brother, Ace Flagg, who had to move down to North Carolina with Cooper Flagg. Went to Sam's rival high school, actually, and won a championship there.
Well,
that's just
not my rival high school.
It was his rival. Like, it's for the podcast. It's a rival high school, just for the narrative. But no, I think he's also 6'8", but apparently, according to Wikipedia, is 20 pounds lighter, which is fascinating.
It's not on that Duke diet.
Can you imagine you're a mom and you walk in and your two boys are there, and one is, you're like, oh yeah, that one's in the NBA. 6'8", 180 versus 6'8", 200, both skinny, but 180 is gaunt. Clearly, he was not beefing up on that sweet vinegar barbecue of the Carolinas.
Maybe he just hasn't found the spot. Than the Northeasterners,
That's true.
Transplants.
He was only there for a year, so hey.
It's true.
But that brings me to, on this, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, it's the 4th of July. So congratulations, America, for somehow making it another year. I think it'll be very exciting if we make it till next year.
Let's shout out. We can make it.
Shout out community. Just
George Washington.
Look inwards. Look at your local community if you're ever struggling. And, there's the internet too, but that doesn't always work. But that's more of a local thing. Anyways, so the rundown for this show on this holiday of all holidays, where they're closed, but they're not closed. The WNBA All-Star team has been announced. Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier will be your captains for the games. And then we're also going to talk, there's expansion teams announced. So the WNBA is, I don't know, what would you say, growing on the up, XY, going this way,
Definitely.
Positive slope.
We're heating.
We're heating up. And the Fever are actually heating up,
reaching
for real.
Pitch. Yeah.
Despite Caitlin Clark being injured, they defeated the Lynx in the Commissioner Cup. So we're going to discuss whether the Fever are real. And of course, some WNBA trades. But other than that, Sam, the NBA, we do have some updates.
We do.
Left you hanging because I went on a wonderful trip with my mother to Omaha to watch LSU win the national championship. That's a whole story. So we did miss the Thunder beating the Pacers in Game 7. Like I said, if you're our target audience, you don't know that yet. So there you go. That is who won this year. We'll see who wins next year. Come back 365 and we'll let you know.
Let's pause real quick. Got to shout out our MVQT, Tyrese Halliburton. Tore his Achilles in the game, so rest up, come back stronger. Yeah, he'll be out. A lot of Achilles tears in these playoffs.
But also, Coco Gauff, Wimbledon has started. But our girl Coco Gauff has already been cast out of the tournament, losing in the first round. But more interestingly, her and Ariana Sabalenka mended, gave out an olive branch. Coco took it. There's a whole TikTok. I didn't love the TikTok, but man, can those girls bounce? Let me say that. And also, before I forget, guys, why don't you go ahead and follow, and subscribe? We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find that stuff on the internet. We're all there. So just go make a comment, follow, and subscribe. Sam?
Shout out. 5 stars.
Yes. Rate and review. I forgot about that. That's why I repeated the last 3. Well, Sam, where should we dive in?
Let's get the NBA out of the way. So, like we said, the Thunder won the NBA Finals in Game 7. It looked like it was going to be an all-timer before that Achilles tear we mentioned. So, kind of unfortunate, but, shout out, I guess, to the Thunder. We'll see.
It was complicated, right? Because he was injured before that. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, he had a strain or something.
Calf or something. Yeah. So then we're all wondering now, is this Achilles brought on by a weakening, another muscle in the vicinity?
Or is it just too many games? Because Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard both tore Achilles as well. Maybe the NBA has an Achilles problem.
No, they have a gambling problem.
Sorry, that got me. After the finals, we had the NBA draft, Kirby, and like we were just mentioning, brother of Ace Flag, Cooper Flag, goes to the Dallas Mavericks to replace, well, not to replace, but to be sort of the guy in Dallas after Luka got traded out.
He went to the Wings game.
Oh, was he?
I think when they were playing the Fever. Michael Parsons was also there throwing out t-shirts. So we love to see that representation of Dallas coming together, driving all the way out to Arlington where the WNBA players have to reside. But we'll get into a little bit more into the Wings and the WNBA section, the women's section, where your t-shirts are smaller than in the men's section, but they're the same size technically. Giannis, massive man. If you don't know Giannis, look him up. He has a beautiful wife. That's the most important part. He's been in Milwaukee for his entire career. They sort of suck. But he's like, do I want to leave? But then he's also like, do I want to be like that guy that just like hangs out in Milwaukee? And like, but it's like, do you like, you're already going to have a statue in Milwaukee one day. You already won a championship there. Do you really like want to live in Milwaukee the rest of your life? No, but maybe he does. Maybe. I've never been, but I've heard I've heard great things.
You're so close right now too. You could go.
Look, I'm way too busy. I've been going on so many capers. I think they're exactly capers definition. This guy in college used to have this like listserv where it was called Chris Cartwright's Crazy Capers. And he would shout out Chris Cartwright. He lives in Baton Rouge, I think, right now. Lovely man. He actually introduced me to Dartmouth, WDCR, Dartmouth College Radio. So if you guys are listening and you're mad at me for talking, you can go blame him. Because Wellesley did not give me a shot. They said, I don't know, do you have tape?
This is going into 30 for 30 right now.
Exactly. Where was I? Oh, my capers. But he would be like, okay, guys, come to the river at this part or this snowball fight. And then like half of them would get canceled by the school because apparently like you couldn't have floaties in the river or something. Look. Wow. But anyways, Milwaukee's a great town, supposedly. Anyways. I will not be going. But Giannis seems like he wants to stay, but they also just got Miles Turner from the Pacers, who was the Pacers was built off of like, I wouldn't call them six men, but they like had the like 6-man vibe of just a bunch of dudes put together that are pretty good at ball and try really hard. 100% not Luka Doncic.
We'll have to see what capers may come of that.
But more importantly, as we dive into women on the other side, I think it's very important to talk about the Knicks. The New York Knicks obviously fired their head coach, Tom Thibodeau, right after they lost the Eastern Conference Finals to the Pacers. Devastating. Was it devastating? Yes, it was. It was a great run, though. I was proud of my team. It was very exciting. It was very exciting to finally, have moved on from the Pelicans who, look. But anyways, they struck out multiple times trying to hire a new head coach. But they're rumored to be interviewing Dawn Staley. And Caroline sent this to me on Instagram. And I immediately looked at it and was like, oh, okay, whatever. And she asked me about it a day later. I was like, did you see that? And I was like, oh, yeah, well, they're not going to hire Dawn Staley. So it's not like I took it seriously. Like, it might as well have been something from The Onion, like making fun of women and the New York Knicks about how desperate they've gotten for coaches. Because it's like, okay, yeah, would Dawn Staley be a great coach? Obviously. But were they ever going to hire a woman? No. I don't know. I kind of was mad about that. Maybe it's like one of those things where, like it's step one to having a woman in like the next 10 years be hired. But I was like, no way Dawn Staley is getting hired. First of all, she just signed a new contract. Second of all, it really felt like, okay, this is like your 18th option. And to make it so public, it felt like a slap in the face a little bit. And I could see her being honored, but also feeling like a slap in the face. But they actually hired the Kings head coach, Mike Brown, Sacramento Kings. He's won Coach of the Year twice. Maybe like 2 years ago, the Kings were cooking.
It seemed like they're on the up.
Where do you stand on the Dawn Staley interviewing? I mean, it's kind of like what's going on in the NFL, black coaches. Interviewing them to not just even consider them. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar to you, I saw the headline or whatever that the Knicks had like reached out to Dawn, or I don't know if they ever interviewed her or not. But it's like you said, like it never really felt serious, I guess, on the Knicks part. I guess I kind of like try to visualize Dawn Staley as the coach of like an NBA team. Yeah, like it's easy to visualize that and like the relationship with like the players and stuff, but I can definitely also visualize a lot of like sexism and stuff from the fans and everything.
Yeah.
Especially like New York fans.
Yeah, I was immediately like, oh, if they suck, this is going to be horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to get bad if they're bad. But I'm thinking, okay, imagine me in the front office, barely in the front office of the Knicks. And I'm like, hey guys, can we give Dawn Staley a call? Like they're like, hey,
Everyone
Kirby, just go come up with like 3 people to put on your list just because you're sitting there looking pretty and twiddling your thumbs. And I'm like, oh, well, like obviously we should interview Dawn Staley. And then they give Dawn Staley a call and you're like, oh my God, they took me seriously. Like next time they might actually.
You think it was a joke is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait, this is movement.
This is going to go in the 30 for 30.
Kirby
got the first woman head coach hired.
I did not. But it's like, oh, wow, they're actually considering it. We'll see where that will go. I don't know. I feel like it would definitely have to be a much smaller market team. Like, again, I could see the Sacramento Kings getting a female coach.
I think too, the optics of them having reached out to 10 other current head coaches of active teams or active head coaches, not a good look to then have the woman be the 10th or whatever, you know.
But I mean, also, it's not like a woman wouldn't be the best person for the job, too. So
I think, too, like, part of me was like, would she even want to leave South Carolina? Like, she's got it made there. I think, obviously, like, NBA money probably clears whatever you're making.
Yeah, but South it's Carolina, not like you're not making any money.
Yeah.
I don't know. She makes $25.25 million. That's plenty. That's plenty.
A lot, yeah.
Well, guys, we'll be back on the other side with the Kirby Farrah show. I love a good salary discussion, but it seems like Dawn Staley will be perfectly fine in South Carolina. And maybe when the W comes calling, she'll run on over. I was actually thinking she'd be a great fit in Philly, but we'll talk about that on the other side when we talk about WNBA expansion on the up and up positive slope.
Tee-hee-hee. Tiva's out here making cute shoes like never before. To all my sisters out there, step out of those sweaty, clunky shoes you've worn for the past 4 summers and into a new pair of Tevas. Dare to be colorful, versatile, and heck, it's about time we're all comfortable. Make sure to put them in your will because you'll have them forever. Tevas, who cares? We're all family.
And we're back. And much like we talked about earlier, we're recording on the 4th of July. And you know what
America.
We forgot even to mention, and you know what Americans love, is the hot dog eating contest. And I'm coming to you with some breaking news as we're recording.
Yes.
Joey Chestnut has won the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. His 70 and a half hot dogs and buns.
And buns. Joey, stop.
Joey, I mean, I see the like recording. Second place has 45. Like this guy could slow down if he wanted to. He's just doing it he's just going for the love of the game.
He literally says, I do this for myself. I do this for no one else.
It's honestly kind of like sickening to watch these people consume the hot dogs. But yeah, you know, you come at the king, you better not miss. He wins
I haven't heard that one.
But yeah, you know, he wins his 17th title. And you know what, Kirby?
Yeah.
There was another title that was won recently.
Yeah.
The Commissioner's Cup. You know, we had the Indiana Fever. It wasn't 70 hot dogs, but it was 74 points scored.
I was hoping you would do that.
to the Lynx's 59. And
that's what I call kismet between Kirby and Sam. He knows it.
Yeah, take us away, Kirby. What was going on in the Commissioner's Cup?
Woo! Okay, so the Commissioner's Cup in-season tournament. We got the Lynx on one side, 14-2, now 14-3, taking on the Indiana Fever. I go, ooh, is Caitlin Clark gonna play? She was not playing. But I tuned in anyways because as you're supposed to. As you're supposed to. Because I love ball. Caitlin Clark's sitting there on the sideline. Her sideline outfits have been getting slightly better. I will say that.
Okay.
I think she needs to hire a stylist, but that is completely separate, which has become a topic on TikTok, which I'm so here for. The Fever end up beating the Minnesota Lynx 74-59. And I wouldn't say I would actually call it an upset for sure. Because without Caitlin Clark, I don't think anyone was like expecting them to compete. I think they were like 4-3 in these past games without Caitlin Clark. But they are looking really, really sharp as a team. And I think there's a lot of offseason movement to get to this point, but I don't think anyone saw them being able to function so well without Caitlin.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have it listed here. How are they doing that? Well, Natasha Howard, she had 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. So nice little double-double there.
Natasha Howard is one of those like vets that's like, you will get a good game out of Natasha Howard when you need a good game out of Natasha Howard. She's been there. I think she won a title with the Lynx a couple years ago. But anyways, born winner.
And we also had Sophie Cunningham, who we'll get to later, had 13 points, while Aaliyah Boston, Ari McDonald, and Kelsey Mitchell each scoring 12. So the points, they're scoring them. They're, filling in the vacuum that Caitlin, I guess, leaves behind. I wanted to mention, too, not breaking, but also other news, at halftime of the Commissioner's Cup.
Oh, my God.
Famed halftime performer, Red Panda, fell off of her unicycle, I guess you call it. And you're picturing, listeners, like a regular unicycle. No, this is like a 6 feet off the ground unicycle. But she does this whole performance, where she's throwing cups up and catching them. Just look up a Red Panda performance. They're electric. I've been fortunate enough to see her a couple times at
You've
UNC,
seen it in
I
person?
think. Yeah, no, she comes and does college games. But anyway, she fell off her unicycle. I think broke her wrist or something.
Yeah.
Everyone is shouting out, getting the prayers up. But
it's really sweet how much people are rallying around.
People love Red Panda. But I did see, I think, like the NBA account tweeted, like, Red Panda will be back in time for the NBA halftimes next season or something. It's like, she's coming back. Like, we're doing it.
I mean, it's her livelihood. It was like one of those like fucking injury, like we're talking like people are taking this so seriously, as they should, that we're getting live updates. Like Red Panda has what was it? Red Panda has gotten undergone surgery in Minnesota and will be going back to her home doctor to get a second surgery. And I'm like, oh, okay, so like we're doing the triage like night of, and this it's like when the guys tear their ACL and they get it. I mean, it does seem to be like if they tear their ACL in New York, like they just get it before they leave New York.
Or it's like player visited this doctor in Green Bay who is the Achilles specialist. Or whatever, Yeah.
It's like they do it before they even like check back in, like before they turn off their Ring camera at home. But yeah, Red Panda should be okay.
I do want to say just real quick, another halftime performer. This is total tangent. Have you ever seen the guy who like stacks 10 chairs and then like climbs them and does like a handstand on top?
I want to say yes.
He's another good performer. Shout out that guy.
I'm a massive fan of the one with the dogs.
The dogs, the like little chihuahua in a dress bouncing on the basketball, or like the guys
and
who throw the
tricks.
frisbee and like jump off the guy's back. Halftime performers.
They
keep the show going. Yeah.
And it's truly like a circuit. It's the same ones.
It really is, yeah. Speaking of circuits, the W's circuit is going to be expanding here in the next couple of years. Like I think we've mentioned before, the Toronto Tempo. I think they're starting next season, right?
I'm 26. Honestly mad it's in Canada because I would get that gear.
Yeah, that's where we draw the line, especially on the 4th of July. But anyway, after the Toronto Tempo, we have 3 new teams announced. Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. We had Detroit, we had Cleveland, and oh man, I can't remember the third one.
Dawn Staley hometown.
Yeah, actually.
Abbott Elementary.
Oh yeah, Philadelphia.
There you go.
There we go. And each of those
ABC classics.
I do. But yeah, those teams are going to be starting up in what is it? 27, 28, and 29, I think. So
something like that.
We're going to be having a new team here, like every new season for the next couple of years.
And the Valkyries are off to a great start. They're the WNBA expansion team that kicked off their inaugural season. Note, their coach is 5'2". Did you know that?
No. The Valkyries coach?
That immediately expanded my brain for what is possible for me. I'm like, oh, I could be a WNBA coach. I literally thought I couldn't, like, I was like banned for being 5'2".
Is it Natalie Nakase?
Yeah. But they're balling over there in Valhalla. I've had this written out in my notes for a very long time to say the word Valhalla.
Is that their thing?
Yeah, because, you know, the Valkyries.
Yeah.
Valhalla. It's heaven.
Right. I can get behind the name.
Yeah, it's really good. And also they had my boy, who I don't even remember his name now, but he was throwing out t-shirts at the last game. This is like how they produce WNBA games online, is that they have 0 commercials. So it's just, we get full display of what's going on the court. And so we're there for the halftime show. This is why I've seen a lot of the halftime shows. We're there for the t-shirt toss. This is why I know where Micah Parsons was there throwing out t-shirts. It's which makes me think, how much does an ad cost on these things? Like, if I can just like throw one in there just for a little bit of just one
publicity, just one. Yeah.
So they're expanding 3 new teams. We'll have to do a repeat and throw out some new names that maybe they'll take up.
That's true.
But they were already teams there. So I think it was like the Philadelphia Rage was one.
Like teams that have moved or ended.
Left, yeah. Detroit Shock. Cleveland was the Cleveland Rockers. Yeah, we can... Oh my God, look at their logo. It's horrible.
The Cleveland Rockers?
My God, it's so bad.
Oh, wow. Oh, I see, because it's Hall of Fame, or Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, this is...
It's the Rock... Who fucking cares if Cleveland's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It has nothing to do with basketball.
There's too much going on in this logo. Some people might argue that there's not enough going on in the cities of Detroit or Cleveland.
Wait, a hot second though. Go look up the Miami Soul. Their logo is fire.
Oh, like S-O.
Yes. Y'all, go look up the Miami Soul.
That's a good one.
If they had merch, the Play Society should just go ahead and bring back merch from the Miami Soul. That would be huge. You know what it looks like? Never mind. It looks like Moe's Southwestern. Does it not?
I was going to say that, or like when they have like the Fiesta Bowl and it's sponsored by like Tostitos or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, look, it got dissolved in 2000, so they haven't had any updates to the logo since
That's right.
then.
They're stuck in time.
Only briefly though. But guys, we're back, of course. This is so funny. These logos are so funny. You're right. Sophie Cunningham, last week she was an enforcer and Caitlin Clark's bodyguard, which I argued was not necessary. And people on TikTok went ballistic, being like, they aren't the bullies. Caitlin Clark doesn't push anyone down. I'm like, oh, okay, so you guys are just like blind and completely are just in your own little WNBA tunnel where Caitlin Clark is only pushed to the ground. But hey, look, if you want to be narrow-minded, this is the perfect place for you because you will only get my opinion. I'm just kidding. But Sophie Cunningham got roasted by literally everyone in the world because she roasted the cities of Detroit and Cleveland, saying no one wants to play in those cities, despite herself playing currently in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have like 4 expansion drafts coming up, so Sophie, you better watch out because you might be going to one of these cities.
The chances of her going to one is really high. I mean, she didn't say anything about Philadelphia. I'm excited. More teams, like we were just saying. I guess we were talking about this. Yeah, we were talking about this before we hopped on. That our girl Liz Kitley, who I was super excited about, playing on the Aces, got cut. Kaylin Chin, who was on The Valkyries got cut, then got re-signed because the teams only have 12 spots, which I don't know. I'm guessing. What is it? Is it 14 on basketball? I mean, on NBA? Or 16? It's 15.
Yeah, and then there's no, like, G League for the W, so...
They're going to have 3 players on a 2-way contract.
Not a lot of spots, yeah.
Yeah, no, so it's kind of fucked up because... Or it's not fucked up. It's great, actually, because they've been calling for this for probably, like, the past 20 years to have more teams after all these teams collapsed in the early 2000s. But so now all these girls, like, what is it, 36 more spots? That's a 48, ton.
If you include Toronto.
48? That's an insane amount, actually.
Yeah.
That's a lot of girls' dreams coming true and not ending after college.
It just shows the appetite for the W. It's growing.
I mean, all the players that are currently in Europe, too, or across the ocean and China and all Turkey. If we recall, Kennedy Carter is currently in Turkey, I think, playing. It seems maybe like she was vibing with it and didn't want to come back to the WNBA. I'm not really sure because she was pretty good last year for the Sky.
And you know what? We'll be here to cover it all. So,
I mean, 48 players is a lot. That's 4 head coaching spots. That's what I was saying with Dawn Staley. I think she'd be great in Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Shack.
Yeah, maybe she's waiting for that.
Hero. Or maybe we could get like a Jason Kelsey, like ESPN will sponsor a team.
Ooh.
As a head coach.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
That'd be funny. And then they like get all of the girls who currently are who are commentators to play.
Yeah.
That'd be a good all-star. I wish they had a celebrity all-star team that's just Stephen A. Smith and all of these other people saying that women suck and that they're only good because of Caitlin Clark. Just getting trolled in the celebrity all-star game.
Speaking of the all-stars, we're here. We know them.
Did you vote? I bet you didn't vote.
No, I didn't even realize it was happening.
I should have posted about
month.
it.
Yeah.
That's on me because I did vote. And I voted on, they do, if you vote on certain days, you can do double voting. You vote counts twice, which, I mean, look, I'm not that kind of, that's not really how I believe voting should work. One person, one vote, but you can vote multiple times. So in total, I only voted 3 times. But again, the front court and back court confused me because it's very specific. You can only choose front court and back court, I guess, so they just don't end up with all guards. But the way they do it is incredibly fascinating. Maybe it's very similar to the way the NBA does it. Look, you're not going to get that information on this podcast, but I will tell you that the way the WNBA does it, it's a combination of the media vote, the fan vote, and then player vote, which is always T and probably the most, the one I respect the most, right? Because they're playing against each other and they know, game respects game. So obviously this creates some discrepancy that I'm so glad that the WNBA posts on its website in full transparency down to the numbers.
Kind of crazy. Yeah.
It is pretty crazy. It's kind of like, man, working in a nonprofit for a really long time. Everyone's like, oh, transparency. I want to know the ins and outs of what's going on. Love that for y'all. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to know. Some things are too hard to really know. And one of those is that Caitlin Clark was ranked 9th by the players as the best guard. But of course, she was ranked first among the fan vote. She had 1.29 million votes.
2 million, yeah.
And then Nafisa Collier, which I think this is really exciting, also had 1.18 million votes. I mean, this is directly showing that the fans are here. And then following that, but then you could also see the Caitlin Clark effect with the Fever. Leah Boston got 1.174 million votes, also in the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell, and not that these girls don't deserve these votes at all, but I think for a while there, it was all of the top 5 for the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell got 750,000. Lexi Hull got 650,000. Natasha Howard, Daub, as we discussed, got 465,000. And then Sophie Cunningham, shocked she didn't get more, but I guess voting was about halfway done before she stood on business for Caitlin Clark. She got the 17th most votes. Yeah, so there's that discrepancy. And I think, let me go through the list. Let me stop being crazy. Our 2025 WNBA All-Stars. And I'll give you my opinion. Aaliyah Boston, 2023 first round pick out of South Carolina. Sorry about it. You got beat by LSU. Glad you still went to the W. Paige Bueckers, my girlie, got 805,000 fan votes. I mean, her and AZ Fudd are officially official. Just followed AZ Fudd on Instagram, and now they're posting all this cute content. Caitlin Clark, obviously on the team, she'll be a captain. Nafisa Collier, already talked about her. Alicia Gray has owned the Atlanta Dream. Y'all need to be catching the Atlanta Dream. They were probably the effect of 12 and 30 last year. And now they're charging ahead. They're gonna definitely be in the playoffs. They got Brittany Griner, and this girlie, Alicia Gray, is one of the best guards you could possibly see. This is her third All-Star appearance. Then we got our girl, Sabrina. I know it's not Ionescu because that's the way I want to say it. And I know it's the wrong way.
Ionescu?
Ionescu.
Anyway, Sabrina from the Liberty.
Yeah, they call her Sab, but there's no way I'm supposed to call her Sab. Nika Gumbake from the Seattle Storm. Satu Sabali, this is very exciting. Although it's her third appearance, it feels like it should be her 10th. Of course, Brianna Stewart, this is her 7th appearance. And then Asia Wilson, my girl, also will be in her 7th appearance. And so that is your starting 5.
It's the starters for the two teams, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's going to be some reserves, which then goes to the rest of the vote totals and such. But I think quite interesting, quite interesting, that the guard with the best score among the fan, media, and player was our girl, Paige Bueckers. Sam, what did I say?
Yeah, the weighted score. She beat out Caitlin, it looks like, by 0.25. It just shows that the league is in good hands.
I mean, all of these players are all pretty young. Who else did they think was super good? Asia Wilson, obviously, is the number one player in the front court, despite the Las Vegas Aces' woes, which I've been going back and forth on talking about, but a lot of their games are very late. So I only catch the highlights. So I don't feel like I can really dive into a good analysis. Angel Reese, bummer, only 12th. 5th in fan rank, though. I voted for you.
5th in fan rank, yeah.
And then I also voted for Kiki Irife. She was the one that was on Stanford 2 years ago and then transferred to USC this year. And she has really been cooking as a rookie in the league. She was 6th in fan rank, 8th in media rank, 8th in player rank as a rookie. She was voted the 8th best front court player on a list of, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Jonquil Jones. Like you said, the league's in pretty good hands, and we're going to have a lot more younger players coming in with 48 new spots.
That's true.
Even more people to vote.
When is the All-Star game, actually? I don't know. It's coming up soon.
July 19th. Am I busy? I don't think so.
July 19th, I think, in Indianapolis, Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Everything's in Indianapolis.
I think it's just an easy town to host big events in.
I need to go. I need to see what's up. Their airport must be fire.
Oh, so you'll see Indianapolis, but not Milwaukee.
Okay, yeah. I did say that.
Milwaukee's a lot closer than Indy.
Maybe we'll drive through it on the way back. I'm sure Caroline would be horrified to know I want to go to Indianapolis. But to close it out, Sam, let's talk relationships.
Okay.
Sam, the real tea here in the last, as we're coming up on trade deadline, we have a couple of breakups, unfortunately. Notably, our girl. Yeah, I'll call her for this one. Melissa Smith. We had a reunion with the Wings, with her and Dejanay Carrington. Beautiful story. They're both traded together from different teams to meet up in Dallas. Melissa Smith is playing Melissa Smith ball, averaging 2 points a game and 1 assist and 5 fouls. So deservedly, since she does get traded to the Las Vegas Aces, which doesn't really make a ton of sense. And I'm pretty sure they got a first round pick for her too. So it's I don't know who's on the front office and the Las Vegas Aces, but you definitely didn't get a steal. But breaking up our couple, Dejanay Carrington and Melissa Smith. And also, as I posted a TikTok, and I'm realizing more and more being on TikTok that my humor is I already knew it was individual, but some people just don't fucking get it. And I'm obsessed with that. I'm like, oh, man, it is sinister. The Wings to break up Nilissa Smith and Dejanay Carrington on the last day of Pride Month. And on top of that, to take out Paige Bueckers out of their stable 2-parent household because they had like adopted her a little bit. And apparently there's this whole like pool situation that I'm confused about that people kept commenting on. Oh, watch this video. This is crazy. This is what everyone was talking about. This was apparently like right before.
Go to your rooms. We got a game tomorrow. You need sleep. Actually, hey, our warden is speaking. Who said that? P5 said we gotta go to bed. Girl, please don't get me started on her. Are you back? Are you playing tomorrow? Bro, that's all I want to know.
Oh my goodness.
That's so crazy. I didn't see that. What is this?
That's
Was
wild.
This on live? Am I constantly saying y'all get off alive?
Nothing good can happen.
I mean, if we were at a soccer tournament and our coach caught us in the pool,
Yeah.
we were hot in trouble. It was going to be bad because, of course, the coach has to stay in the same hotel with you. Whatever. But I actually can't believe they were. I mean, they are a grown woman and they know their bodies and probably weren't doing that kind of terribly rough housing in the pool like we were when we were 12, expending our energy. But I don't like hot water anyways. I can't believe that happened. So like the day before they were like, all of this happened. And then everyone's like, oh, I bet it was that video. And then half the people are like, it's not Love Island, it's basketball. Why are you talking about basketball like this if you want people to take it seriously? Blah, 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 blah. This is like, I'm like, oh, okay. You guys just like don't get comedy. Following. But it got like the most engagement I've ever seen. But then I watched this video this morning about Borzoi's nose growing from a puppy, and that had more likes and views. So,
hey,
there's a lot of people
comparison is
on
the
TikTok.
thief of joy. So,
bars. But yeah, so Nilissa Smith is now no longer with our girls in Dallas. I think everyone would be better for that, except their like dog and probably their apartment that they paid more for because there are going to be 2 people living in it. But hey, WNBA doesn't care about logistics. Second, who you mentioned last week or the week, whatever, last episode, DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas, power couple formerly of the Connecticut Sun, were separated. DeWanna Bonner went to the Fever. Alyssa Thomas is now with the Mercury. We were like, oh, this is going to be great. We love leadership on the Fever, blah, 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 blah. And then DeWanna Bonner started like the first 3 games of the season and then kind of just like pitted out a little bit. And we're like, what's going on? And she had asked to leave the team for personal reasons. I think she was waived maybe right at the end of June. So she did not get her cut of the Commissioner's Cup, which everyone was roasting her for, but she's clearly like, look, I don't care. And she goes, quote, I want to sincerely thank the Indiana Fever for the opportunity to be a part of the Fever franchise. Despite our shared goals and excitement heading into the season, I felt the fit did not work out, and I appreciate the organization's willingness to grant my request to move on, particularly at this point in my career. I wish the Fever great success as they continue to build around this dynamic group of young players. Sounds like everyone was telling her she was too old, which is really tough.
Between the lines a little bit.
Between the lines. Like, that's what we're here for. She hadn't played 27 minutes in a game this season, had taken 4 shots or fewer in 5 of her 9 appearances, and was averaging 21.3 games a minute, which is the lowest since her rookie season. So either wasn't working with the team, wasn't working, her style of play, whatever, but she wasn't getting played. She was over it. Clearly, there's an emphasis on youth on that team. The girl that replaced her, Aria McDonald, was one of the ones that scored 12 points in the Commissioner's Cup. And so people are already pretty pumped about her. But yeah, so DeWanna Bonner now has a couple of days until July 13th to find a new team as a free agent. She's interested in either the Atlanta Dream or the Phoenix Mercury, which is where her wife is, so Thomas, her fiance. I don't know if they're married, but who knows? Both of those teams have full rosters, so they'd have to drop somebody to get her a spot. And clearly the WNBA is not pro keeping families together, as we just saw. So I don't know where she's going to go.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Or she won't end up playing anywhere. But I think she's 30. She might be 37? Yeah. She's 37 years old. I don't think she's ready to call it a career, but clearly it wasn't working with the Fever. And she had just been playing for Stephanie White, too. So I feel like that was a big reason why she came over. But wasn't getting playing time, and could be a number of things why she wanted to bail. But I'm sure, I mean, she's a great player, she's a great leader. Maybe a team that's looking probably not like maybe the Dream, but they have Brittany Griner, a team like should be great on the Valkyries kind of thing. Need a good leader in the locker room. Who knows? I mean, Valkyries is not on the list of the teams she wanted to go to. But we wish you well, Dawana. We hope you and your lover reunited once again. There's nothing like being in the same household, and she picks you up some ice cream, or, she takes the dog
brings you
out.
a Celsius when you need it.
Exactly. A box of tissues, makes the bed from time to time. But hey, look, we have children to do that as well. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you all for joining. Beautiful 4th of July. We will go enjoy, probably. And we'll see you next time when there will be more WNBA, I'm sure. Maybe a little football. Football's been slow. I apologize.
We'll see.
There's not much to talk about. And the NBA is kind of obviously over. But, the youngins, they're always on the internet, so I'm sure we'll be getting plenty of content to talk about soon in the future. So yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. Sam, love you so much. Please remember to like, listen, subscribe, rate, and review 5 stars on anything you can possibly give us a one. It means a lot. Goodbye.
See you.